Oh, you have to switch it on, I think.
Yeah, correct?
Hello.
Perfect.
Hi everyone. Sunday. Hi.
Hello.
Wave if you're awake. Yay.
Okay, they are live. So, I think we'll start for the people who haven't been here yesterday. Can you tell us again how you got involved in Friday the 13th franchise?
Okay, so who wasn't here yesterday and the other day? Okay, all right, good. Oh, thanks for being here. All right, so I got involved. I was living in New York City, and I was doing some modeling and a bunch of commercials, and I had just done another film called Fat Chance. And it's a fat chance if you ever get to see it, because I think it's disappeared off the planet Earth. But then all of a sudden they called me for Friday the 13th Part 2, and I said, oh, come on, really? And they said, yes, why don't you just go and just audition? So I went and sat in a room with a variety pack of campers. You know, there was like the cute guy, the African-American guy, the sexy girl, the outdoorsy girl, all the sort of character types were right there. And so we just kept going in this big room and going back and forth, and then they just asked us to do things like pretend you're walking through the woods and somebody comes up behind you and scares the shit out of you, and what would you do? And of course you're supposed to scream. And I think there was a scene in the beginning of the movie when Paul says, Ginny, you're late. And I say, oh, come on, don't worry about it. And then remember that scene where I say, bullshit, Paul? Does anyone remember that? Yeah? Bullshit, Paul. Anyway, so that was the audition scene. And then the rest is history.
Yesterday we also talked about another production, April Fool's Day. Can you share with the audience some memories about the production?
Okay, April Fool's Day was shot on the most beautiful location I have ever been. I mean, we were about 2 months on Vancouver Island, which is in Canada, Vancouver, Victoria Island. The town was Victoria. But we shot in this mansion, the mansion that you see in the films where we shot the whole time. And somebody just sent me a picture that the property is for sale for like $10 million. But it was just a great place to work, just to hang out there at that mansion right on the water. And it was a fun cast with Deborah Foreman and Griffin O'Neill. I remember everyone else stayed at this one hotel out in the middle of God knows where, and I ended up really lucky with this great apartment right downtown by the docks. And I got to bring my dogs. And I remember I had this is kind of interesting story, at least to me. I was bringing my dog into Canada, and it was a big dog, and so she was in this crate in the airline, and you have to fill out those forms that say, do you have anything to declare? Well, when you're in your 20s, I just went, no. And then I get there, and they say, you have a dog, and I go, oh yeah, I forgot to put that on the form. Well, they took me to security for like 3 hours, accused me of being a liar and, committing perjury on that form. You fill that form out when you're like pretty drunk after the flight, right? You're tired. And so anyway, I got out of jail free. And then I went and did the movie with my dog. It was a pit bull.
What is your favorite scene in the Friday the 13th movie you're in?
My favorite scene is probably the one I hate the most, which is when Jason comes through the window and grabs me. Even though I know it's going to happen, it was a really, really frightening scene. I had to shoot it 3 times, and I hated to do that scene. But in hindsight, I think, it wasn't so bad. And let's see, I kind of like jumping in and out of the Volkswagen at the beginning, when I wasn't running in the rain with all that makeup on. How about that scene under the bed with the rat? Do you guys remember that scene? When I'm supposed to pee? Because I'm so scared. Scared the piss out of me, so to speak. That was a real rat. It was gross. And I have rat phobia. And that rat, I had to, because it didn't want to get near me, but it was one of those tame rats. And I had to be afraid of it at the same time, make it come near me. Sort of off camera, I had to scoot it over next to me. At the same time, while they're pouring a can of Coca-Cola on the floor, which is supposed to look like urine. So there were a lot of things happening in that little gross scene. We have a question.
Over there.
I think the end of part 2 is a little bit confusing. Do you have an explanation what happened to Paul, to John Fury's character? Is he dead, or was it a dream where Jason jumps through the window?
Well, that question is asked a lot, and if I told you the answer, I'd have to kill you. Because it's secret. No, I don't, you know what, seriously, I think it's, it's up for your interpretation, but I was given the script for part 3 to do, which, stupidly, I said no, I wish I had. But anyway, in part 3, reading the script, it was written so that Ginny went to college, and she spent the whole summer in rehab trying to get her shit together because she was so traumatized by this whole Jason thing that everyone kept saying, oh, it never really happened. And I was ostracized at school, kind of a loner, and they kept everyone saying, oh, she's such a weird girl, she's such a weird girl. So the first week of school, I go downstairs to go do my laundry, and in the dryer, I open up to put my clothes in the dryer, and Paul's head is in there. So it could mean that Paul's dead. So I'm gonna have to kill all you people as soon as we finish this Q&A.
Can you tell us what have you done and what have you worked on after you have shot the Friday the 13th movie? And what you're doing today?
Let's see, after I worked, I guess, for about 10 years. I did a bunch of TV, and I did another couple films. And then, you know what, I had children. And as some people know in the audience, I have an Emma and a Charlotte. And I love them to death. And, well, not to death, but you know what I mean. So I had kids, and then I went back to school, and I got my master's degree in psychology, and so I'm a psychotherapist, and I have a private practice, and I work with people, and I work with people using horses. It's called equine-assisted psychotherapy, and I live in a small town, so now I'm really practicing rural psychology, which is fascinating. So human behavior. Now, here's a quiz for you guys. Who remembers what Ginny was studying? Remember the night at the bar? Remember when those two guys, Paul and the other guy, were kind of laughing about Jason? And remember what I was saying? Well, what if there really is a Jason? And the other guy said, oh yeah, he's gonna have some kind of frightened retard, right? And I said, no, what if there really is a Jason? And what if all these problems, really happened? Well, does anybody remember what Ginny was studying? Time's up. psychology. So lo and behold, a fan told me that, a fan gave me that fun fact. I had completely forgotten it. So, like Ginny, I lived out that fate, and I'm now a psychologist.
So I think we have room for one more question. Noch eine Frage? Irgendjemand? Over there?
Why do you think is Friday the 13th such a favorite franchise or a successful franchise?
Are you leaving? Everybody say goodbye to Danielle.
Bye. Bye.
Why do I think it's such an amazing franchise? Well, you know, some of the fans I learned from you guys more than me, because you guys understand a lot more about it than I do. And what I hear is that Jason, in the beginning, in the first couple of the films, he was sort of somebody real. I mean, he's not this kind of, he was somebody who could have been a real person and was traumatized. And a lot of people can really relate to that, having been traumatized by other human beings. So I think that happened in the beginning. And then towards the end, I think he kind of turned into God knows what. I haven't gotten that far in the series, but I think that's why it was really popular. I mean, so don't you guys think that? Yeah? Maybe?
So I'm very sorry, our time is up for today. Any final thoughts, anything you want to share with the audience?
Well, I've been hearing everyone else say this. I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I know this is kind of redundant, but if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't have been able to come to Germany, and I'm so grateful to be here, and I cannot believe how punctual, it's really true, how punctual and polite the German fans are, and just how beautiful the cities are, and the great hotel, and there's an incredible breakfast buffet, which we do not get in America like that. And just thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a really cool convention, and I hope to come back again someday. Just thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen,
And it's still